6 and 6 also. What I've observed is that some of the religions, whereas they are very liberal to matter of their beliefs and their ideology, but they are very severe and oppressive socially. Islam, by practice, not by writing or by preaching, but by practice, appears to be very oppressive, ideological, that's in matter of faith, but very liberal, socially.
You have to illustrate because I simply can't understand what you mean. Illustrate bit by bit. This comparison, this very interesting comparison, I understand.
It is observed. It is observed over the centuries.
Apply your philosophy, go through the facts of Hinduism and facts of Islam, and then make the comparison more clear.
My object is not comparison among religions.
No, but you are making a sort of comparison anyway, whether the object is there or not. But unless you make it clear, I will not be able to answer you.
Yes. The point that I'm arriving at is that by practice, Islam appears to be most repressive, ideological.
Examples where Islam appears to be most repressive and it is liberal in social content.
Yes.
Give example and clarify yourself.
Yes. Now,
but you started with Hinduism. The first.
Yes, say in Hinduism, you see, you can worship hundreds of gods. Nobody is going to stop.
What do you call this? Liberalism?
It's of course liberalism, the ideology. Yes. At the same time, you see, their caste system, you see, they're social, they're most oppressive. Even in this enlightened age, you see, a Shudra is not allowed to go to their mandiris. See, that's what I exactly mean. You see, that socially they are most oppressive, ideologically they are most liberal. At the same time, Islam, ideologically.
Now there is a difference of coinage of phrases. I don't accept that phrase as liberalism. What you are describing is anarchism in religion or chaos. That is also a sort of liberalism, isn't it? Free for all. One way of seeing it, observing it would be, I mean, some observers would call it liberalism and some would call it chaos. So I understand the situation to be a chaotic situation rather than a liberal situation.
Yes, so we are reverting to the comparison.
Alright, now understand the first point. Now second point please. Islam.
That by practice it has been observed that Islam is most repressive ideologically. In its
oppressive in the sense that it only claims one God and does not permit you to worship other gods.
I'm not taking it in that light. I'm taking, you see, when Sunnis believe in one faith and Shias believe in another, they are prepared to cut each other's throats.
That is neither here nor there.
No, sir, because it is on the basis of their faith.
Because if you mean that, then in comparison, Hinduism has exactly the same hard, tight compartments, and they are very severe in maintaining those differences. And they are very intolerant of each other. For instance, Aryans, Aryaism, not Aryans, but Aryas, Majis, they are very intolerant of Brahmo Samajis or Sanatan Dharmis. And so are they of the others. And they have their own very strict mythology to follow. Not doctrine, but they have mythology, you know, some sort of mythology. And each one has its own distinct mythology. So they are worshippers of Vishnu, worshippers of others, and there have been fights going on between them previously. Only because politics has now predominated their imagination and pursuits in life. This is why they have been, these differences have been subjugated to a position of unimportance.
Vishnu,
What?
My question, not about the question, is the statement was why this paradox, why this difference, why Islam is socially so tolerant and by faith in its ideology so repressive.
It's not, again, there's a difference of your terminology. It's not at all oppressive. How could you call a faith oppressive and restrictive in its ideology when it says man sha'a fal yakfur, man sha'a fal yumin, wa man sha'a fal yakfur? La ilaha fid din, qad tabayyana rushdu min al-ghayy, wa man yumin billahi wa man yakfur bit taghut wa yumin billahi faqad istamsaka bil urwati al-wuthqa lan fisama laha. This is a straightforward declaration of the Holy Quran. Where is the oppression? I can't see.
Excuse me if I hear you say the same time we have some punishment from Murtadism.
No, not in Islam. I wonder which Islam you are following.
Hazur, in one of the prayers of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that Allahumma inni zalilun faizali. And
Allahumma inni
zalilun faizali. Fa'azini. And in many of the prayers of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, he expressed himself as gunahgar sinners. Nauzubillah. We know that these were the people who were the prophets, were innocent. But we are expected and we are supposed to speak truth in all the conditions, whatever may be. So, this is Ajzi maybe, is Ajzi, but
no, not only Ajzi.
Yes.
It has a very, I should say, a refinement of character and a high quality of excellence which is shown in this attitude. The fact is that if you understand the English idiom, one man's meat is another man's poison, to some extent you will follow this situation. There are different strata of closeness to Allah and piety. And at a low status, your concept of piety would vary according to your situation and your own attitude to life and your upbringing. And all these factors play a role in determining what is pious for you. But the same thing which may be pious for you could be a crime as applicable to a man situated much higher, at a loftier platform. So it's all a relative terminology. When we say Anbiya do not commit sins, we mean in ordinary terms, what is known as sin, very clearly laid down in the Holy Quran, they just do not commit sins. But a refined person, many a time, having not committed a sin, makes a very small mistake somewhere, or considers he has committed a mistake because of his higher values, and he is more ashamed, much more ashamed than a sinner is when he commits a sin. A sinner having committed a great sin may be shamefaced, audacious about it. But a person with high refinement would apologize. Sometimes you see people apologize to you who are more finely strung for things which you simply can't understand. Why are they apologizing? There is no occasion for apology. Yet they in themselves are being eaten up by some omission they thought they had committed. So this is exactly the situation with the prophets in relation to Allah. None is without sin. In that sense, this is why the prophets have pointed to this fact. Like Hazrat Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. There is nothing, none is pure and pious except God. Don't call me pure or pious. That is what he means. In relation to Allah, everyone, every being is imperfect. But with relation to you, they are complete paragons of virtue. They appear to us so perfect that for you to point a defect in them would be committing a sin. Would be like committing a sin. So this is the